Hey everybody, I'm back with another video. As it should hopefully look somewhat different back there, I've rearranged my shelves and I put all my comics back there. My video games are now down by the, well, that's part, it's still the same, but I got more comics back there, so good deal. And I'm wearing a parka, you know, like in the book we're about to read. You're probably asking, where's the X-Men patch? Well, I may not have the money for that, but I've got a paper one I made, so it's a start. I tried to put tape on it for school, but it fell off a lot, so just pretend it's there. But yeah, this is the day I've been dreading since I started reviewing this, the final volume. It's been a fun journey, fun ride for the whole 6 volumes. I'm gonna miss it. You're not gonna get any more Scott Pilgrim. You just got the movie, the 6 books, the card game, the video game, and yep. So it's been a sad life for us fans. But you know, that's the decision that Bryan Malley has decided to take. He doesn't want to make any more books of this caliber. I mean, he's still making like Snot Girl or whatever. I haven't read that, but I'm planning on it sometime. Anyway, we begin the issue with Scott being like depressed. He's just like hanging out in his room playing like a PSP, basically like a PS Vita or whatever. You know, one of those portable gaming PlayStation devices. And Wallace comes over and tries to like cheer him up, and he's like, you know, you need to like go out and like have some casual sex, just to like, because you're being really boring and you're depressing. So just like get out of the house, stop playing this video game, and do something. He's like, but I like video games and I'm not good at sex, so I don't know. So you know, Wallace is like, you suck, I'm out of here. And then later, Steven comes over. Later, some other night, you know, as it says in the book. Haha. Steven comes over and he talks about, like, you know, Sex with Bomb is basically broken up. And, he's like, well, Sex with Bomb is basically done. So, yeah. Yeah. He invites him to a party. And Scott's like, I'm playing video games. And then he goes to sleep and has like a really bad nightmare about Ramona stabbing him through the chest, and all of his exes come back and try to kill him. So then he zips up his parka and goes out to the party. Like you do when you have nightmares. Yeah. So he goes over to the party, and he meets Knives, and he, Knives is now 18, because she had her birthday recently, and he's like, hey, Knives, you want to, have sex or something? I don't know. And she's like, you know, I'm totally over you, Scott, you sort of suck, but we can make out. And they make out, and it's really awful, and they hate it. Yeah. And then he meets Envy, who, again, he tries to sleep with, but that doesn't go over well either. They have coffee, and he sort of talks to her about Ramona and whatnot. And, yeah. Then he's over at his house. He plays his phone, voicemail, and Cam Pine, his friend who left the last volume, is like, hey, why don't you get over here, because I'm bored and it sucks. Just come over, you know? And then the cat comes back, and he goes to sleep. And then he goes over to Kim's. No, I totally lied. Sorry. I was jumping the gun. He hangs out with Envy. And he's like, hey, Envy, you want to sleep together? And she's like, no, you're a total jerk, and you broke my heart. And we basically find out that Scott has been, like, not having the best memories, basically. Because all of his memories are, you know, like, narcissistic, sort of, and just, like, they're not the actual truth. So we find out, I'm kind of in, this is the part that intrigues me though. You know, what about New Year's Eve? Do you remember the fight we had? We had a fight. Like a fight? A fight that you started. Well, I remember you breaking my heart. The feeling is somewhat mutual. That's kind of interesting, I think. Like, how did Scott break her heart? Like, because the way Scott remembers it, she broke his heart. So, it's interesting. And then we meet Gideon for the first time. And Scott runs away. But then Scott goes to Kim's house. So, yeah, now we're at Kim's house. And he's hanging out with Kim, and they're going in the woods and stuff, hanging out. And then they, like, make out and stuff. And then Scott's like, but we were, like, so good together in high school. And then she's like, we weren't, like you remember, because you, like, totally punched Simon in the face, and you didn't even tell me you were moving, because you told Lisa, so screw you. And then Scott gets into a fight with Nega Scott. And they fight, and it's Nega Scott versus regular Scott. And yeah. And then he remembers how much he loves Ramona. Like you do when you're about to get killed by your inner demons or whatever. And then Nega Scott just goes into regular Scott. Like this. And then he remembers everything. And then she kisses him, and then Kim kisses Scott goodbye. For good luck. And then he goes on the bus home. But he's on top of the bus, and that looks really super cool. So yeah. And then, like, Envy and Gideon are, like, talking, because they're dating, of course. And, Envy has, like, a new album coming out, and Gideon's gonna sort of showboat his girlfriend off, like, here's your party or whatever. Like a, you know what I mean, like a grand opening sort of for the Chaos Theater and promotion for Envy. So then he goes over to the Chaos Theater, like in the movie, and he has a drink, and he spills it on himself. So then he gets a Gideon Gordon Graves t-shirt, which is super cool. Who wouldn't want one of those? But yeah. He spills a drink on himself and gets a new t-shirt because it's like promotional stuff or whatever. The bartender just had one laying around. And then the Envy starts singing, and then Scott realizes that Gideon is behind him, and then they start fighting. And he's like, where's Ramona at? Because you, like, totally kidnapped Ramona. And then Gideon's like, I totally didn't kidnap Ramona. What's wrong with you? And then he reaches into Scott's chest, pulls out Scott's sword, and he stabs Scott in the chest with his own sword. Buzzkill. Now Scott's dead. And then Scott wakes up in the desert, like in the movie. And then Ramona's there, and she's like, I came back. Sorry, it's been a while. I just, like, had to think about stuff and, get her thoughts going. And then she's like, I'm sorry, I was totally a jerk and everything. And then Scott comes back to life because he has an extra life from Volume 3. And then Ramona comes back, or out, or whatever, however it is. And then we find out that Gideon has, like, this weird, like a spaceship or whatever, not spaceship, but like a whole containment field of girlfriends that have dumped him, and he's holding them hostage until they come back and love him or whatever. So that's really weird. So then Gideon and Scott start fighting, and Ramona. But then Gideon stabs Ramona. He likes stabbing people, apparently. Then we have a flashback to Gideon and Ramona when they first met, and when she cuts her hair, to what we see in the beginning of the book. And then Scott goes into the bag. And we see, you know, Gideon, he's all evil looking. He's got like Super Saiyan looking hair. And he turns all giant. And then Scott headbutts him. And he saves Ramona. And then a bunch of other Ramonas come out. And they're like, how about you get out of my head, you freaking jerk. I think that's super cool, though, where it's like a bunch of different versions, sort of. Because it's not like it's like Spider-Verse or anything, but it's like different outfits and everything. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. But he's like, get out of my head. And he's like, fine. I'm getting out of your head. But then then Ramona pulls out the bag and Gideon tries to kill Scott. But then Ramona blocks it with the bag and the bag breaks. And crap goes flying everywhere because it's a big bag of junk. And then Scott's like, you know, maybe you and me aren't so different after all. Maybe we're like the same. And then he learns the power of understanding. He gets a brand new t-shirt and a brand new sword. And then they start fighting. And they fight. Until Ramona gets the upper hand, knocks the sword out of his hand. And then they cut Gideon into little pieces, and coins go flying everywhere. It's pretty crazy. And it hits the audience. And then Envy hugs Scott for, like, you know, sort of like saving him because Gideon's a dick. It says so in the book. And then she sings, and the girls that Gideon was holding hostage are freed. And then Ramona and Scott are kind of like, let's patch things up, you know? So they sort of like, they get on an elevator ride home, or they go, and they leave the place, and then they, assuming they go home. And then we find out that, Steven and Scott have, like, plans to go to, like, a party. Yeah. And then we find out that Steven's gay. And then, because, you know, Steven sort of broke up Sex with a Bomb, so now there's the Shatter Band, which is just Scott and Kim, basically. And they play a cover of I'm a Believer by the Monkees. And it sucks. And then Knives leaves off to go to college. And Ramona and Scott jump into the subspace together. And it looks beautiful. Ta-da! There's like your final shot. This is a really good book. This is probably like, I think this is the biggest book out of all of them. I don't know. But yeah, this is the ending. It's pretty good. I like it. I would give it an A minus. Why not? Yeah. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The last volume of Scott Pilgrim. So, I won't be reviewing Scott Pilgrim anymore. Unless I get the card game and decide to review it or something. But I don't have any friends, so I probably can't play it. So I probably can't review it. Which is a bummer. But I could do like an unboxing or whatever. I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So yeah. There should be some more Riverdale reviews coming up sometime. I don't know. There's also a show about the history of comics, sort of. Like, it's more like the mysteries and stuff we don't know. Behind the scenes sort of stuff. By Robert Kirkman on AMC. I've been watching that quite a bit. I've watched every episode as of right now. Except for the last one. But it's coming up, so just give me a minute. If you want to review that, then, you know, let me know in the comments below, and I'll review it. I haven't seen episode 1, because I haven't seen them replay it, but I know it's about Marvel and everything. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you have anything you want me to review, or anything you just want to say, then tell me in the comments. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day. Peace.